Hello and welcome to the Irish Hunting Podcast, the no bullshit podcast for the outdoor enthusiasts. If you're into hunting, fishing, fine wines and even finer foods, you've come to the right place. So pull up a chair.
Hello and welcome back to episode number 87. On this week's episode, we speak with Tom London, a guide in the south of England who guides for Chinese water deer, muntjac, red deer, pheasant drives and much more. Hope you enjoy this one, folks. Hey guys, welcome back. Hope everyone is having a good start to March, although we're halfway through it. We're back again, just literally in the middle of landing in Norfolk. So we flew into Stansted earlier on in the week, there Sunday evening, and we've made our base down here. And we wanted to just bring you a quick episode in relation to what we're doing here. So this week we'll speak with Tom London. He's a guide and an ex and current gamekeeper here in Norfolk, a beautiful part of the country in southern England. The weather is good here, so we're really enjoying our time so far. What we're going to do is we're probably going to bring it in the second part, episode 88. We'll sit down with some of the guys and we'll have a chat about how we got on and what we did, and we'll talk you through some of the hunts that we've done, and hopefully we'll have another couple to tell after this episode. In relation to Tom, Tom is an experienced gamekeeper himself. He's grown up on game farms and estates, rearing pheasants and partridge, driven shoots and duck hunts and geese hunts and deer stalking. So he's adding every year to his business here. He can cater for a wide range of country sports and field sports. So I suppose what we wanted to do was, in conjunction with the podcast, and we're hoping to try and over the next while to do some collaboration with some of the stalkers around Europe and at home. So if people want to try and arrange some of the trips that we've been on ourselves, they can now start to maybe contact the podcast and we can put them in contact with the relevant personnel. So hopefully that'll help and aid people who want to try and get away and enjoy some of the trips that we've been enjoying. And this will be kind of the start of that. So if you have any questions, make sure and send them in. We're more than delighted to hear from you, and we'll answer them as best we can. Hopefully the episode that we're about to lay on here, we'll just outline some of the things that Tom provides. It'll give some prices, but just bear in mind, guys, these are kind of indicative and they are due to fluctuate as well, because I was just talking to Tom off air there, and so for instance, just in pheasant rearing alone, the prices, well, you'll hear some of the prices and say, oh geez, that sounds like very expensive for a bird and so on. But just bear in mind, there's quite a lot of stuff that goes in and fluctuates within that. So this year, bird flu is going to be another big bone of contention. It is for a lot of the gamekeepers, both at home and over here and across Europe. And insurers now are stopping insuring the likes of Tom, so for against bird flu. So they're open to huge losses. Like some of the bird numbers they're rearing here, 40, 50,000 birds. You're talking huge money. If gas prices go up, for heating their brooding pens and stuff like that, and incubators and so on and so forth, that has a huge impact. Grain price, feed price, agricultural price. So all these things play into account. And obviously, this is not your standard pheasant shoot. So, for instance, we're looking out the window here, and there's pheasants literally everywhere. we're sited on a campsite, a house on a campsite. It's surrounded by estate, and literally as far as your eye can see, there's crop farms and tillage farms, and it is bursting. I mean, bursting with pheasants. Some of the pheasants here are just phenomenal to be seeing the numbers and the quality of them as well. So Tom talks us through some of that, and also then you're talking in terms of the pheasant drives and so on. You've inputs like breakfast and travel and accommodation and so on and so forth that can be put into the mix should you choose to do so. So in terms of the deer stalking, which we're over here to do, again, we got kind of indicative figures from Tom so that it'll let people know what they're looking at if they want to try and book a trip. Obviously, you've gone higher on top of that in guide prices and so on and so forth. So again, we didn't want to get bogged down too deep in different packages, because the guys can pretty much put together a package that'll suit you. So we're already planning now for hopefully next season getting back over. We're planning to give you an example of what we're trying to do. We're going to hopefully get on a goose shoot in the morning, get out into one of the driven shoots in the afternoon for pheasant and partridge, and that'll be probably 100 bird, 150 bird shoot, and then maybe a bit of deer stalk, and then in the evening or the following day. So we're going to vary it up next year, and the guys can accommodate that. And I think it's really cool to see a stalker and a gamekeeper that can accommodate most budgets, because like yourselves, we're not bursting at the seams with dollars that we can keep coming back and doing this endlessly and relentlessly. We've to, like yourselves, have to plan stuff as well. So it's kind of cool. I think once you book it in early, you get your flights early and cheap, your rental car. Again, we can advise all that. If anyone who wants to get in contact, we'll hopefully help you as best we can to the way that we've done it, and try to make it affordable. But for even people trying to get into the deer stalking that would maybe have experience vermin shooting and stuff like that, and want to come over here and start I think Chinese water deer and muntjac are an excellent way to get into that, because Chinese water deer especially, they give you a chance to stalk into them. So they're not as kind of flighty as the muntjac or some of the native deer species we have at home, like Sikh and so on and so forth. So they're a little bit more inquisitive. They tend to give a little bit more time on the rifle, and that's a very good way for stalkers to start. So again, Tom will cater for that type of a package, and he talks us through that in detail. In terms of some of the guys over here, we've had a phenomenal time. Rob and Yanis are here. We're having great crack. Food is excellent, accommodation is top class, and we're really, really enjoying it. So without further ado, we're going to bring you Tom. I hope you enjoy this. Any questions, you can email us, contact us on social media. And please, guys, if you like what we do and you want to see some of it, again, give us a like, give us a share, hit the review button on Spotify or Apple or wherever you get your podcasts, and give us a bit of a thumbs up. It helps a little bit towards what we're trying to push towards here. And with some really cool stuff coming up. So hope you enjoy, guys. Here we go. Tom Lunnan, take two. Tom, welcome to the Irish Hunting Podcast again.
Thank you.
First off, I wanted to thank you for having us over. That's the first and foremost. So talk us through your company, name.
So we're registered as T London Sporting. Obviously, deer stalking business. We sell deer stalking, pheasant shooting, rough days,
Driven shoots. And I suppose take us back, Tom, again to when where it all started. You grew up not too far from here.
No, I grew up about 10 minutes from where we are now. Started obviously off keepering with my dad when I was younger. Right through my life, I've been keepering all my life. And and then we came from that into the deer stalking.
Deer stalking. When you were, I think we spoke about it yesterday. You've a phenomenal capacity to hatch and rear and release birds. You were back in the days with your dad. Roughly how many birds were? I know this is.
So before COVID, we were rearing roughly 100 to 150,000 a year.
Wow.
Depending on orders.
And that's pheasant and
Pheasants
partridge.
and partridges,
Yeah. And that's gone slightly down.
Yeah, COVID hit. A lot of small shoots around here packed up. People were panicking we couldn't shoot. Didn't really know what to do. No one knew what was happening.
Yeah.
So a lot of the smaller shoots packed up. So we don't rear as much anymore. We still do a healthy number.
Yeah.
We're still doing probably 50,000 between us, but
Wow.
yeah.
And we'll talk about it just a little bit later. We'll come back to it. But we spoke yesterday about insurance and all that kind of stuff, and the hassle you're trying to get trying to get that as well. Which I suppose some people who may look at prices for the likes of the driven shoot and say, "Oh, that's expensive," and so on. But the outlay you guys have is phenomenal.
Oh, it really is, yeah.
In terms of your early years shooting, how did you get into the shoot? Obviously, your dad was keeper and etc. So that probably introduced you. Can you remember your first time out shooting?
It's been a long time ago. My earliest memories are probably back in the day when Dad first started. We used to, when it was the farm guys shooting and his friends and stuff, he used to, obviously Dad was running the day, but the bloke that owned the farm at the time used to take me in the wood behind the guns with my little 410.
Yeah.
And see if we could pop one or two off behind the guys shooting in the front. They never used to mind. So
yeah, that's how you started.
Yeah.
Because it's a good way to start if you have plenty of action there. You had plenty of action. You were standing behind me anyway. I can tell you that. There'll be plenty coming at you. Moving on, I suppose, to how that transitioned. Obviously, your pheasant rearing and partridge, the deer stalking. How did you get into that, initially?
So we've always done deer, controlling them for numbers.
Yeah.
As everyone around here does. They need to be controlled, obviously, for crop protection and everything else. And then about 3 years ago, I thought, well, instead of doing this myself, why don't I turn it into a business? There's a few people do it across the country, and it just sort of blossomed from there, really. We just
complements the other part of the business anyway.
The deer need to be controlled.
Yeah.
So we decided let's turn it into a company and let's
go from there.
sell the deer stalking.
And there's three main species you have in this neck of the woods. I know you have more, but these are the kind of the three: your Chinese water deer, your muntjac, and your reds.
Yep.
And you sell all three.
I sell all three here. Yep.
And you can arrange fallow shooting as well.
Yeah, we can arrange fallow shooting either near here or elsewhere in the UK, or we can actually arrange it abroad.
Yeah.
In Czechoslovakia.
And that's mouflon and...
Over there we can do mouflon, fallow deer, wild boar.
Very good.
And pheasant shooting, driven pheasant shooting on a very large scale.
And you also have some shooting up Scotland as well, I think. You can.
I can arrange roebuck stalking in Scotland.
In Scotland.
Yeah, medal class stuff. We don't tend to do medal class roebucks around here.
Just not the quality of animals are not. Yeah.
There's a well-managed estate in Scotland that does roebuck medal class stalking, which I can organise.
Very good. I suppose we'll start with the muntjac and the Chinese water deer, which we were over here predominantly to have a peep at. Chris was telling me yesterday, they were brought in originally, I think, obviously the name will suggest Chinese, as an ornamental type of a deer to one of the estates locally.
Yeah, Woven Safari Park.
Okay. And then they just literally exploded from there.
Yeah.
So
they say they escaped, but...
Yeah. Well, lucky for us, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Apparently they escaped years ago and they've just bred like they breed. And
similar to Seco over in Ireland, when back in the day in Powerscourt, they were brought, I think a breeding pair of St. Chris were brought in there from one of the English landlords, and they again blossomed over there to what we have now. So it's it's lucky, I suppose. In terms of the Chinese water deer, breeding and mating. So they're mating at this time of the year. Is that right?
They will have mated by now.
by now.
Yeah.
And the litter size, this is something that I wasn't
The
aware
litter
of.
size varies so much. The average, let's say between 5 to 8 young, and they'll lay them across a field like a hare, so in all different locations. Chances are they'll end up with one at foot, maybe two,
Two.
due to predators and birds of prey and other such things. But there has been recorded litters of up to 18.
That I found that phenomenal, just mind blowing. You know, the because they're I know they're small deer, but they're a substantial size to have a litter. You know,
Most I've personally seen, one deer is 11.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's and again, when they're born, they're open to predation then from your
Yeah.
foxes and buzzards and so on. I suppose an offshoot of you guys having the likes of the big pheasant shoots and drives here. You do a lot of vermin control,
Yep.
which probably inadvertently helps
Of course.
some of the
No, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't like to see a fox on the place.
Yeah,
Let's put it that way. We do plenty of fox shooting.
and some trapping as well.
Yeah,
Which
magpie trapping, crows,
grows. Yeah,
obviously squirrels and everything else.
Yeah.
Squirrels can cause you a massive problem with nesting birds.
the greys.
Yeah, they'll take the eggs and the chicks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow, didn't know that. That's what. And you guys have a lot of greys over here,
a lot of grey squirrels. Yeah.
Yeah. Any reds?
No,
No.
no reds at all. Well, I've never personally seen one.
There you go.
They say there's a few around Thetford, but
And they were traditionally here. Would have been here.
traditionally it was
Yeah.
red squirrels. Yeah, and then obviously the American native grey squirrel pushed out the reds.
And
And where
white.
you've got greys, you will not have red squirrels.
Yeah. We're having a little reversal in that now with the reintroduction of the pine marten,
Yeah.
who they say is wiping the greys, and then, but again, that's also creating some problems for the likes of yourselves.
Yeah,
and
they wipe everything else out in their path.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I suppose there's upsides and downsides. The muntjac then, they breed all year round.
Yep.
They can have 2-3
There's no
litters.
telling the muntjac when they're breeding. Nothing. You'll just come across a doe with 2 fawns at foot one day.
And that's
Yeah, like we saw this one run across the road, didn't we? We saw
yes, yeah.
a doe and a little fawn. That is that time of year for them to be breeding.
Yeah.
The does are in season at the minute.
And the males are in, they rut in around now. You
Yeah,
know,
they males just, I wouldn't call it a rut. They
yeah.
just tend to fight anyway. And
Yeah.
The bigger dominant male will have his little territory and push the younger ones out. And
of course, if a doe's in season,
yeah,
and another male comes in, he'll probably
he'll probably
go at it then.
have a fight with him and push
Yeah.
him out.
The Chinese have, I suppose, a very distinctive fangs,
Yep.
which they use to fight, which we came across yesterday, I think, and they tend to chomp at each other and shred ears and
Oh yeah, they fight well.
and can lose teeth.
Oh yeah, well obviously,
That one, which we'll see hopefully in due course.
yeah.
And they can be a nice size to it as well. Which, just talk us through, I suppose, and it's changed from last year, I know, so we won't hold it scientifically, but measuring metal animals in the Chinese water there.
Yeah, that's quite a difficult thing to do now. They've changed the rules. So the top of the tooth, the crown part, now has to be healed over in order for them to measure it, which won't happen to about a 4 or 5 year old animal. So they don't just go on the length and the circumference anymore, which is what they used to do.
Okay.
So it's made it a lot harder to shoot metal deer.
Especially for a guide, it's going to be harder to. You're trying to put a guy on a deer. And I know it's not supposed to be easy, but you'd want an X-ray to tell.
Yeah.
You know a metal from
when they measure them, they take the teeth out, so then they can see the top, and they measure the whole tooth. So they're not only measuring what you can see. They're once taking out the gum, you'll probably have, say, 1/2 inch in the jaw.
in the jaw.
Yeah.
So it goes right back up
Yeah,
into
they
the jaw.
measure the whole thing.
Wow. And we've been, I think, lucky enough. We won't know obviously till the time comes. But the 2 boys upstairs here at the minute, we're lucky enough to shoot what we think are going to be medal class
Yeah, well, you
animals.
can tell they're quite an old animal, so I would have said they're definitely going to go gold.
And of course, they've plenty of old war wounds as well, with the ears shredded to pieces as well. So
yeah, well, your one was in 3 bits. And,
that's correct. Yeah.
yeah.
So, and that's probably a way you can possibly determine I presume if there's a lot of war wounds on it, it would
it's one thing to look for. That's a good old warrior, and
yeah,
probably been beaten around the bush a few times.
And you can see, I suppose, myself and Chris were out this morning, and you can see the kind of indent in the jaw as well, which is the telltale, or one of the telltale signs of a nice fang coming down there as well. You can, the muntjac then, they measure slightly different, so you're measuring antler.
Yeah, measure the antlers on the muntjac, which are a lot more complicated to do. So they measure the length of the antler, they measure the circumference of the antler, they measure the brow tine, they measure the width between the 2 antlers. So if you've got one that's long but it's really close together, it won't score as much as one that's a bit shorter but really wide apart.
Yeah.
It's such a complicated way of doing things.
But again, last night we had come in, and one of your other clients had shot what's looking very like a gold medal.
Oh yeah,
muntjac.
that's a gold medal muntjac.
Yeah, phenomenal looking animal. I had to say, very impressive.
That's a very, very nice animal.
Yeah, the I suppose what's hitting us here is the amount of good animals. It's probably synonymous with being managed well. You know your ground well. You've good relationships with a lot of farmers.
Yeah.
And the locals. So and you can. I suppose a good sign of good management is, you send, if depending on what somebody's looking for, you can.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a cull animal, you can supply that.
Yep.
And if you're looking for a trophy or a medal, I know there's nothing ever guaranteed. But
no, of course not.
We've been here 2 days now, and we've had, and we've seen other clients have very good success. So that's obviously a good sign of good management on your guys' part. You've a couple of good guys assisting you here, Chris being one of them.
Yeah.
Your brother.
I have Chris, I have a brother, Paul, who you met this morning, and a couple of other guys who help us out through the year.
You can accommodate nice groups.
Yeah, we can take some good sized groups. We tend to stick to 6 to 8. That's sort of what the land can take at once. Yeah.
Safety and
if people are happy to come and do high seats, I mean, I could take 20 at a time.
Yeah.
But just if everyone wanted to stalk at once, about 8 would be where I'd be at.
Yeah, and you're probably the same. You like a little bit of stalking as well. So,
yeah. A lot of people do prefer the stalking, but we do have a lot of clients here that they don't want to walk around.
Yeah,
they want us to go and put them in. If they bring their own rifles, they want to go be put in a seat, dropped off at 3 o'clock and picked up at 6:30.
Yeah,
and they love it.
Yeah, which is, you can accommodate something for everyone.
Oh, we can do everything, and anyone's needs they need. We accommodate from complete and utter novices, so we can bring them here on, say, for instance, Friday, have half a day's training on the range, shooting targets, shooting different rifles, trying off sticks, right through to take them out stalking, teach them to growlic, anything like that.
Very good.
So we'll take.
Just speaking on that, I suppose that's a very good way of because I know in a lot of the guided hunts, especially the ones that we would, that service is probably something that's kind of lacking. So for somebody wanting to get into,
a lot of people don't like to do it because you have to do a whole day of just messing around with rifles and stuff. But we're happy to do it if people want to come and complete novice, never stalk in their life. They don't even have to have picked a rifle up in their life. They don't have to have a ticket. They don't have to have anything. We can
talk them through it.
Talk them all through it. Supply them with everything they need. Teach them everything they need to know.
Very good.
And by day 2 or 3, they'll be killing animals, and they'll be.
That's brilliant, because I know from a lot of guys over in Ireland, it's a very hard thing to get into. You have to have, go through all kinds of hoops over in Ireland where. We would know, definitely I'd know that, some of the lads now listen to the podcast, their ears will be pricked up knowing that they could maybe come over. And muntjac and Chinese are a nice animal to get into that world. Yeah,
definitely.
Because you're not dealing with some of the larger animals, which...
no, you start dealing with red stags, it's a bit of a bigger project.
Yeah. So, and talk us through, I suppose, from we'll start at the driven shoot. Price range. What can a couple of lads coming over here? We'll take a group of say 10 lads coming over here.
Yeah, so we average 8 to 10 guns on the driven shoots for the pheasants and partridges. You'd be looking around £40 to £42 a bird this year, I believe. We haven't actually had the gas prices yet, or the feed prices, which we're still waiting for. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to go up from last year, and last year was 42.
Yeah.
So it might come down a bit. So obviously it's £42 a bird, 200 birds. So you're looking between £800 to £900 a gun.
Including your hospitality, you were saying?
Full hospitality, everything.
Your breakfast, your
11s.
breakfast
in the morning, 11s, and then we tend to on our shoots have a long 11s, bit more food.
Yeah.
Do another couple of drives and then have a lunch afterwards.
So you get a nice day shooting there.
You get a good day out, and the thing is, when you're December, January time, you've lost the light by 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
You don't want to be pushing birds at that time of day.
Yeah.
There is a lot of shoots that do it and end up picking up the torches. You'll ruin the shoot.
Yeah. So you're better off getting out before the sun goes down, and then you can have your dinner then and a couple of pints then to round off the night.
Need time to get back, settle, and go to roost.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll just push them off.
I suppose then we'll move on to your Chinese water deer.
Yeah.
Average price or starting.
So the Chinese water deer are averaging about £100 to £120 a cull animal, depending on what package you come on. Then you go into your representatives, which could be £250 to £300.
Yeah.
Then you go into your middle class animals, which range from £500 to £800.
Yeah.
And
obviously
pretty much the same on the muntjac as well.
On the muntjac as well. And then you can arrange taxidermy, etc.
Taxidermy, we can arrange all that. We have very good taxiderms we deal with. We can ship anywhere in the world. We can arrange shoulder mounts, skull mounts, full body mounts. Any taxidermy you want done, we can sort.
And I've seen some of his work. You were actually showing us some pictures last night.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Very, very impressive. As I think Rob said at one stage, he's seen some taxidermies where a fox looks like a squirrel, So, but this is not the case. This is fantastic. And we'll hopefully get to experience some of them coming back our way in due course. I think that the reds then you can in September, October, is that right?
Yes, we start the reds. We usually start around the rut, so middle of September. It varies obviously on the weather. Same with you guys.
Yeah.
It'll be between the middle of September and middle of October.
Yeah.
But we start taking red clients second week of September through till the end of October. But the rut is the best time.
The best time.
Yeah.
And average price there? That can vary in terms of...
you need to contact me on that one.
Yeah, because that'll start us depending on whether you want your cull or you're into bigger numbers.
We do hinds all year. We don't tend to do. We won't do hinds whilst we're doing the stags.
Yeah.
We finish stags end of October. I think we did have a couple the first week of November this year on the stags, but we tend to lose the stags after the end of October. They tend to disappear off to
a bachelor group
somewhere else.
Yeah.
And they'll come back normally about July time. So at the moment around here, you'll see the odd one, but not a lot.
Not a lot, yeah.
But you'll see a lot of groups of hinds. So we do some hind culling towards the end of the season.
The pheasants, obviously, we're coming towards the end of the deer season now.
Yeah.
When does the Munties and the Chinese finish up?
End of March.
End of March.
The muntjac you can shoot year round, but we don't tend to because they cast their antlers.
Yeah.
Normally around April time.
Yeah, and you're only shooting next year's potential.
Next year's medals.
Yeah. Which is doesn't make sense, but and then you're straight off. You'll be stopping deers and straight back into the pheasants.
Yeah. We'll finish deer season and then probably have a week's break, and then we'll be back onto rearing. So, and
that's full tilt then from now till
that'll be flat out then.
Yeah,
silly season as I call it.
How many birds are you looking to put down this year?
Across all three shoots will be sort of 40,000, I suppose.
Wow, that's you're saying that there's just 40,000 as if it's a that's considering I think there's a million pheasants in the wild in Ireland, 40,000 in 3 shoots here is phenomenal. But as I say, it has to be for anyone. I hope to get a couple of more pictures, but for anyone who doesn't, literally the countryside is full of partridge and pheasants, and one is bigger than the next. I was saying there just earlier on where, over in Ireland, when they get kind of wily, the tails go up in the air to reduce scent and so on. But there's some over here that are trying to keep their tails off the ground and still dragging. They're phenomenal birds, just phenomenal. And first thing in the morning, last thing in the evening time, just the noise here. It's just, I know you probably are immune to it. Yeah. We're coming out here and there's literally one out in the garden here croaking away at us, looking at us. They're phenomenal birds, good quality birds as well.
Yeah, it all depends on the breed you have. On this shoot, I tend to release Banzantes and some Manchurians.
Okay.
Sort of the average around here.
And why them compared to other breeds? Do you just find them
It's just what we've always got on with.
Yeah.
Manchurians are smaller, faster flying pheasants, so they tend to make the higher, better shooting birds. Banzante is a very good holding pheasant.
Yeah. They hold well.
Yeah, they do hold well.
You do some. I seen one in the freezer, reeves as well.
Yeah, we do a few reeves. Yeah,
dot them around.
Yeah, they escape out the rearing pens and end up on the shoot.
And come here, they're quite an aggressive. Pheasant.
Reeves are very aggressive.
Yeah,
if they've got their territory. Often when I've got them in the woods, unfortunately, my 2 down that wood got shot this year. But you'll be feeding in the mornings and it'll chase you on the quad bike and he'll jump up and start attacking your leg. And so they're funny little things. Very, very, very.
Yeah.
Very aggressive.
I've heard that about them, but I haven't experienced it. But just as I say, I've seen one in the freezer. Obviously, it's going a nice mount. And you guys can shoot hens and cocks all year round, or not all year round, but all season round.
Yeah, we shoot hens and cocks.
And obviously, that's slightly varying to back home. I know in the driven shoots, obviously we can, but in the wild we don't. And do you find then vermin control an important part, obviously, of your day?
It's a major part of our job, right through from trapping squirrels to magpies, crows, rooks, onto the foxes. Yeah,
and I think we were saying that's probably the byproduct then of obviously the Chinese water deer. Their young are susceptible, and the hares will be susceptible to vermin.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And the hares around here, again, for anyone not appreciating it, they're just literally in dozens in every field here, which is
when I started here, there wasn't a very big hare population, and we've just hammered the foxes so much that we now have got a seriously good hare population in this area. Yeah, and I think it's something that back home it's a huge contentious issue, because we've a lot of, obviously, for the last couple of years we've had green influence in government and so on and so forth, and they're trying to ban fox hunting, they're trying to all this kind of stuff, and they say that the foxes and the magpies and the greys don't really do much. You know what I mean? They're carrying. They do all that kind of stuff. This is from. They're terrible things to have around.
Yeah.
They've all got to be controlled, and unfortunately, the way we control them, people don't agree with. But it's got to be done.
On the flip side of that, obviously, what you're doing is working, because the first thing that would probably get hammered would be obviously the pheasants, your partridge, etc. And then as a byproduct of that, obviously the hares have thrived.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Because they would be very susceptible, especially around breeding season, you would imagine. And it'd be like taking candy off a baby, going around picking up young. So for a fox,
they just walk the fields and just pick the little leverets up and walk off with them.
I've seen, actually, I didn't get it on video, I didn't have them, but early days, I seen back home, I seen a grey crow coming down on a hen pheasant, acting like some kind of a buzzard or that kind of clawing at it. They do huge damage here as well. I was talking to your brother this morning. You do a lot of trapping and shooting here.
Yeah, with the crows and the magpies.
Yeah, and do you see much damage from? You were saying here the greys. Obviously, you've no reds, which is a shame. Red squirrels, the greys they'll rob nests and stuff like that.
Yeah, the greys they will take chicks from nests, eggs from nests. I've seen it myself.
Chicks, literally.
Yeah, they will take chicks out of nests and eat them.
Wow.
Everyone thinks that a grey squirrel doesn't eat meat. It's not true. They do.
I didn't know that now. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. If Dad had said I'd taken an egg or something, I would have. But
no,
like,
they'll take the chicks.
the
as well.
chicks. Wow. You've no pine marten here?
No,
No.
thank God.
And is there some in parts of England here? Is there?
Tend to have them in Scotland. I think they might have a few further north of us, but there's definitely nothing within a few hours of here.
Yeah. They've obviously been reintroduced to home, and they reckon they're getting on top of the greys, but obviously as a byproduct of that, then they've other delicacies that they like as well, which is unfortunate. You have mink here as well, no?
Yes. Yeah. Well, mink originated from Stalham, which is about 10 minutes down the road from here.
Okay.
So they were brought over by the Americans again for the fur market, and the Antis smashed the hutches up one night and let them all out, and then they just spread across the Norfolk Broads and bred like wildfire and thrived. And
what fantastic people our friends, the wildlife people are, yeah.
Yeah, I think they don't realise they're actually doing more harm than they are good.
Without a doubt, yeah.
Yeah, and then when they release things like the mink, they then go and wipe out the population of wading birds and everything else.
And then you've things like salmon, you've your ground nesting birds, they'll just literally
just wipe them out.
They're a huge impact on wildlife. I suppose the upcoming season, how you fix for it? Yeah, you all set, or is there?
Yeah, we're getting there. There's a few bookings left to go.
After us, you have a couple left.
Yeah.
I wanted to, I suppose, make a point for anyone listening in. We're going to put up your details and contact details, all that kind of stuff on the podcast afterwards. I just wanted to throw my way, and this is not a promotion. I know you don't want that. It just was more of a general chat, but I'm going to highly recommend, as will the two lads. We've been over here for a couple of days. We're not finished yet. We still have hopefully a little bit of shooting left. But to yourself and the guides, phenomenal from start to finish. You've looked after us. You've as I said, you've advised us on the car rental and the travel. You can arrange that for people, etc. If they so wish. Our accommodation here is fantastic. We call it a hunting lodge in the middle of a campsite with restaurant and bar on site. Yeah, it's perfect. Just 2-second walk from your accommodation, and
you have a few pints.
You've got everything else local if you need it.
Yeah, and it's a lovely. If you can arrange hotel if they want, but again, we're up at.
We can arrange any accommodation you like, from a hotel to, if you want, there's a 12-bedroom mansion down the road.
You actually brought us out, yeah. You've a house with a lake at the back. That one,
yes. There's that one, and then there's another one. You haven't actually been stalking on that estate yet. Maybe you go tonight, but there's another one down the road that they rent out, which is on one of our shooting estates that we do the deer on.
Very good.
It's a very large house.
You've your log cabins out the front there,
you've got
overlooking.
The down the front there, all the hot tubs and everything.
It's phenomenal. Them. It's phenomenal. I have to say, start to finish, there was nothing I changed. And that's the thing, what I'd like to say as well. When we were coming over, you didn't promise us the sun, moon and stars. You told us exactly how it was. Ironically enough, and I don't think it's by chance, the two boys upstairs they're on 2 medal class Chinese, we hope.
Yep.
2 very good representative muntjaks were shot as well.
Yep.
And I've had some nice Chinese as well. So I don't think it's any coincidence that we've been here for literally only 2 days shooting, and each one of us have got a couple of very good animals. And that's a sign, I suppose, of good management on your behalf.
Yeah, you have to manage the animals to make sure you've got your medals for the following year. And some people don't want to shoot medals. It's fine. We do cull packages.
Yeah.
We cater for anyone.
But you do it in the right manner, I think, as well. You're not going around just.
No, we don't just flatten everything.
Yeah, you do it very strategically, I suppose. You have a very good relationship. I've seen it with the farmers and the locals, etc.
Yeah.
You have to have.
Oh, no, absolutely. Everyone's got to get on.
You have a huge swathe of land under your control.
Yeah, we're pushing about 8,000 acres now.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Your favourite type of shooting? I know we just touched on it. Two went overhead last night.
The geese.
That's your...
All day, every day if I could.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. We're hoping, this is the tentative plans under a couple of beers last night. We're hoping to get back over we're going to do some kind of a package with you in terms of maybe a driven shoot,
Yep.
maybe a bit of geese,
Definitely.
and maybe a little bit of deer as well. So
You'll be addicted once you've done it.
yeah.
And the driven shooting.
Well, I heard them coming over last night, and my God, did my heart jump out of my chest when the two of them.
Yeah, when they come back over them trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They chased
Well, they pushed the Chinese.
The Chinese, we were
watching.
looking at a lovely Chinese, as we thought. And with that, these two hammered over our heads, and he was having none of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we might see him again later on. But you can arrange that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. I can't wait to get back over, Tom. We're not finished as yet. We've some shooting to do, we've some drinking to do.
Certainly.
And I know we've taken you away as well from your partner, and you're really a newborn baby as well. A birthday today. So I'd say we're flavour of the month in your house.
Yeah, quite all right.
But true to form, and I suppose it's highlights how professional you are. We were up here this morning at crazy o'clock, 4:45 or something, organising everything. And I know I said it to Chris on the way over this morning. It's a huge deal to put this thing together. You're dealing with farmers, you're dealing with us as hunters, you're dealing with landowners and neighbouring, all that kind of stuff. And you're trying to put it together.
Oh, absolutely,
guys.
yeah.
That's
why you see me on my phone so much.
Yeah, and I can imagine it's stressful.
Dealing with everyone, but it's we get the job done.
Yeah, no, and it's never ever impacted on the shooting, which is I suppose testament to yourself.
Yeah.
Listen, we're going to get back now. I think we're going out shortly. I see the lads are starting to get ready here.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to rock and roll again.
Won't be long.
No.
And it's looking a good, sunny, nice, very nice evening for it.
Yeah. So let's, without further ado, let's get hunting. Tom,
Perfect.
thank you very, very much for
no
coming
worries.
on.
Thank you.